Okay, perfect. So I will start with some very, very easy questions. If you could share your name, your position at UT, what org or organizations you advise, and how long you've been advising.
So my name is Rachel Swank. Currently, I am the Deputy Director for Community Childcare, and that is with Purdue Extension and the College of Ag. Previously, I was with the College of Education for a long time as a licensing advisor and officer and as a graduate assistant. I'm a student of the College of Education still. I'm finishing a PhD in curriculum and instruction. So the organization I co-sponsor is Kappa Delta Pi, we affectionately know it as KDP. But it's a national and local honor society for teacher education. Um, did you want me to explain a little more, kind of like
Sure.
with K?
Yeah, you're welcome to elaborate.
So KDP, what I love about it as both a member and now as co-sponsor is that it basically exists multiple reasons, but largely to recognize pre-service teachers and then also, in-service teachers, um, those that are researching in the field of education and teacher preparation. But almost even more than that, I sincerely appreciate the support that it provides to, again, not only pre-service teachers, but also in-service teachers. So I think it's a really nice organization in that it's there to support them kind of as they begin their teacher career and then all the way through.
Nice. Teachers definitely need as much support as they can get, so that's great. And
Yeah.
how long have you been a co-sponsor for them?
So I was approached in fall 2023. Um, KDP had been huge at Purdue for a long time. Purdue actually used to house the regional office. It used to be right across the street from Beering. But then the longstanding sponsor, Jerry Crockover, unfortunately, he passed away. And I think things just kind of fell by the wayside. And um, there was a lot of turnover in advisors, and it unfortunately the organization kind of went dormant at Purdue for a while. And so I was approached in fall 23 by the interim dean if I would be interested in kind of reviving and relaunching KDP at Purdue.
That would be the first question I've written down is what motivated you or inspired you to go ahead and accept that and become their co-sponsor?
So I previously, well, a lot of reasons, but
Huh?
um, previously I taught for 10 years. I was a secondary social studies teacher and I loved it. The only reason I kind of went out of teaching and back into higher education was COVID, it affected us all.
Yep.
But so I kind of knew when I came back to higher education, I wanted to have some sort of impact in teacher education and just my years in the trenches. I wanted it to assist in some way, shape, or form for new teachers, existing teachers. So while I was teaching, I sponsored a lot of activities. I worked at a very rural school, so you had to wear multiple hats, and I sponsored student council and a study abroad club, lots of different things for student support and student involvement. So it seemed kind of a natural, like, sure, I enjoy working with the students and helping, you know, develop and grow their leadership skills and support. But also too, like I said, I wanted my time in the field to account for something, not account for something, but I wanted to use that to help pre-service teachers who are learning to be teachers, and then also kind of in getting their feet wet in the field, assisting them too.
All right. Okay. And what would you say, I guess, besides what you've already mentioned, you enjoy most about your role?
I think what I enjoy, I think what I enjoy most. So teacher education is unique, and then at Purdue, we actually span across. Teacher education spans across 7 different colleges. So within the College of Education, we have, our elementary programs, social studies, language arts, but we also have programs in the College of Science. We have programs in the graduate school. So I think one of the things I like about most is that I kind of get to work with all sorts of students. I think sometimes there's the misconception that, well, they're teachers. And so, which, yes, we are all teachers, but we come from very different content areas and very different backgrounds. So it's really nice to get to work with students from all over campus. And then two, it's neat in I don't want to say I'm surprised, but it's always almost refreshing and re-energizing as an old school educator. But just to see the leadership and the initiative and the drive that some of these students have. Like I just for example, last fall, so I also serve as a board member and as vice president for the Association of Teacher Educators, the Indiana chapter, and as a national member. And we hosted a conference last fall, and I organized a session where the KDP members from Purdue actually went up and did a panel discussion about what it's like being a pre-service teacher in today's kind of political climate.
Mm.
And I was just blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I brought in a moderator, so there was no like, even though they're coming from my school, um, they had no access to the questions, nothing. And a lot of the feedback, these students were so well spoken, so well versed, so passionate about what they did, and it was just so. It really was. I don't want to. It's cliche, but it was. I was in awe, and
Mhm.
and the feedback from the attendees, it was really. I was really motivating to hear and to see.
When was that? And is that something ongoing every year?
Yes, so we host that every October.
Mhm.
Typically, it's every. We try to avoid, of course, Halloween, and we try to work with fall break. So it's usually about the third week in October,
Mhm.
that third Friday, and I think ATEI has been hosting the fall conference. What is it? 76 years. I mean, it's a long one. I think I've been involved in ATEI and ATE since 2021 or 2022.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, those are both phenomenal organizations. And so yeah, having KDP represented there. And then two, this is the first year KDP is actually hosting ATE Midwest at Purdue this April. So
Oh,
next month.
well, that's going to be big. When is that? When in April is that?
So that will be Friday, April 11th.
Okay. How do you
So
feel about that? More excited,
yeah,
nervous?
it's kind of I don't want to say all of it, but it is. I have full confidence in our KDP members. The executive leadership with ATE Midwest is fantastic, and it's one of those things. I always kind of try to phrase it like it's low stakes in that. I shouldn't say low stakes, but it's low stakes in that it's an organization that incorporates higher education and you know K-12, which is you don't tend to see a lot of it. It's kind of one or the other. So it's an organization that sort of brings that together. So there's always just such a positive environment and support. Um, so I mean, if you're going to make mistakes, it'd be the group to do it with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a wonderful group, and I'm really excited for them to have this opportunity.
It's a positive, supportive environment.
It is. I think because again, everyone involved in ATE is either a teacher themselves, they're a representative from higher education working in teacher education in some capacity, or they are a researcher in teacher education. So again, I think we have that commonality of being a teacher and the stresses and the challenges and how much we want to support our profession. Um, so yeah, it tends to be very inclusive and just, yeah, I can't say enough good things.
All right. Sounds great. To take a bit of a turn,
Mhm.
what would you say you find most challenging about your role?
Um, I think it's challenging, of course, because of time. I think everybody could say similar. I know
Yeah.
there's so many demands placed on all of us all day. Timing can be challenging. I think I put pressure on myself and that I you always want to do everything, but it's can I do this all to the best of my ability? So being a mom of three little ones and a doctoral student and working full time and
Mm.
in this organization and this organization, it gets to be a lot, but I'm thankful for all the experiences because I really do think it kind of crafts that perspective and experience that I can bring to each of them. So timing can be a challenge. I think it can be challenging too, because KDP is an honor society, both our chapter at Purdue, but also nationally, there is a fee associated with it. And that can be somewhat frustrating at times, and that I completely understand why it exists. That's but in that I hope that is not the deterrent for students.
Mhm.
I hope that that alone is not what prohibits students from joining and having access to the resources and opportunities. Um, I would say those two.
Yeah, that can be tricky to navigate to want the resources to support the organization and affiliates, but also wanting to be as open and as accessible as possible. Um, Another kind of heavy question. Uh, what do you feel the university could do or do more to support you or other co-sponsors or advisors like you or student organizations?
Um,
Are they already doing a great job?
I think I know our KDP president has gotten great support in like with our BOSA account,
Mhm.
and a lot of administrative things we've gotten good support. The only thing I would say that was somewhat challenging when I first came in, because KDP had been a long-standing sort of organization, almost administratively, it was very I'm trying to think of it was very messy when I
Yeah,
came in. There was like there would be this website here that linked to this, and there
sure,
was this one, and it was very difficult to kind of like drill down, well, who has access and control of this? Like I need this shut down, and that's, I mean, to no one's fault by any means. It was kind of a, like I said, a unique situation, and so navigating through that. So that was only really the only thing that was difficult was we kind of didn't know where to start because there was this account and where were these things and who had access to this. Well, this hadn't been done since 2019, and it took us probably a good 4 months to kind of weed through that, but I think, yeah, everything was handled.
sure. Yeah, I pretty consistently get correspondence, particularly from newer advisors. Can you help me find X, Y, and Z? And of course, from my perspective, I'm supposed to know all that. So to me, it's like, oh, it's right there. But over time, I could see that, yeah, there's a lot of different pieces in a lot of different places. And there's a lot of bouncing around of, oh, you don't want to talk to me, you want to talk to this person. So I can sympathize. My last question is, what advice or insight or tips would you have for someone who's brand new in a role like yours or as an advisor or is potentially interested in becoming one, but just kind of wondering what they're going to be getting themselves into?
Um, I think maybe some practical and then some philosophical.
Okay.
I think practical advice. And this was kind of the first thing I did when I came in is I said, to prevent like what happened here, we have to make we have to make documentation and access to our folders, our processes, all of that has to be centralized. That cannot be attached to anyone's specific email address. Like there has to be, here are the resources, here's how you access it, and that is available to everybody because I said that's going to help. So if something happened to me suddenly, the organization doesn't stop. So that was a big thing when I came in, having gone through sort of that experience, I said we have to have that. And so we've worked hard to make sure that all of that is centrally located. Um, it's not connected to any one person. And so that would maybe be my one like practical advice was to make sure you had something set up like that.
Mm.
Um, I think philosophical is finding something that there's a genuine uh, interest and passion, and you know, it. I think that because in thinking about combating the time constraints and the challenges and issues, I think it's that commitment that we have to what we love that then
Mm.
sort of carries us through that.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. All right. That is all the questions I have for you. Just want to say thank you again so much,
Yeah, no
particularly this
problem.
time of the semester. I know you must be super busy, and then everything you
Yeah,
mentioned you have on your plate.
it's okay.
Uh, really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you do need any support or anything to do with advising or co-sponsorship,
Okay.
just let you know I'm available.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Just
I appreciate it.